Hey guys, this is Ishan here, calling back from Okemo. It is time to talk about VGC 2017 and the Pokemon that I wanted to really give a Pokemon analysis to. Not a team analysis just yet, but I want to look at each individual Alola Pokemon. And one of the rule sets, of course, is it's going back to doubles like it normally would be for V4. There's going to be Ultra Beast included, which I will eventually talk about. There's also not going to be any Mega Pokemon. So unlike the last VGC, VGC 15, and VGC 14, you can't be building around a team with a Mega Pokemon. Instead, take a Pokemon and make a team building around itself, or have a very good synergy style team. Now, I'm going to start off by not going in order of the Alola decks. Instead, I'm going to go pretty much in any way I can. I guess the best way to start is with the Guardian Deity Pokemon. There are 4 of them, and the first one we're going to look at is Tapu Koko, one of the first Pokemon shown for Pokemon Sun and Moon. Tapu Koko is indeed a legendary. It is genderless, so you can't breed it, and there's only one of them per game. But it is an electric fairy type, only seen on the Dene before this generation. It was good for having to be weak to very few things, only weak to poison and ground. It takes that neutral damage from steel types, but it also gets that immunity to dragon as well. Tapu Koko also having pretty solid offensive stats just based on its design. It's surprisingly a physical attacker. I guess that's kind of what you expect for its design. For an electric type, it's slightly worried because its main way of attacking with an electric attack is Wild Charge, which always, also gives him recoil. And unfortunately, Tapu Koko, along with the other Guardian Deity Pokemon, do not learn Play Rough. So physically, Tapu Koko's main way of dealing damage with a fairy attack is either through Dazzling Gleam or through the new signature move, Nature's Madness. Nature's Madness, basically Super Fang. It always cuts down the opponent's health by half, keeps going down by half until it gets down to one hit point. On the bright side, unlike Super Fang, it is a fairy move, so there's nothing that is immune to this move, whereas Super Fang is blocked off by ghost types. But Nature's Madness is a good way of chipping down the opponent's health for your ally. And then I should also talk about the Surge abilities. These abilities are, on switching, the Pokemon summons a terrain move. They are the new way of, weather synergy, weather-inducing battles. Weather really took over a lot of Generation 5 and part of Generation 6, not as much because of the nerf, but with the terrain moves here, they actually give each of them benefit. I'll go through each after every video. In this case, Tapu Koko has Electric Surge, which brings out Electric Terrain. Electric Terrain lasts for 5 turns, like any weather move. It boosts electric type attacks, and it also prevents Pokemon from being asleep. Keep in mind, this affects every Pokemon, including your opponent, and it only affects the Pokemon that are on the ground. Any Pokemon with Levitate, any flying types are not affected by the terrain moves, just by grounded Pokemon. And despite its design, Tapu Koko isn't levitating, he isn't a flying type, so he will get that boost on Wild Charge. He will also be immune to sleep. Now, the good thing about Tapu Koko is that it's a great supporter, in a way, with Alolan Raichu. Alolan Raichu being pretty much the Ludicolo of this tournament, or VGC, because Ludicolo is not part of the Alolan decks, and we have to wait until Pokemon Bank to see, what is going to be changed. Now, because Alolan Raichu, similar stats to Ludicolo, not great physically, but it has better special attack. It has pretty decent special defense, and its speed is really good. So even then, you don't have to put much investment into its speed. You can go more into hit points, special defense, physical defense, give it Assault Vest, because regular Raichu works out well with Assault Vest. So having a faster Raichu with the Surge Surfer ability, doubling its speed in electric terrain, allows it to outspeed, tank up some hits. It has a decent move pool ranging from Fake Out, Grass Knot, Psychic Thunderbolt, which explains why I gave it the Assault Vest, because it's similar to Ludicolo in that way. Now, enough about Raichu, because Tapu Koko has 3 ways I generally ran with him. Now, Tapu Koko's physical offensive set, if you can go pure offensive with him, it could work. Like I said before, his physical move pool is kind of lacking. The fact that he doesn't get Play Rough is kind of the problem. But having Brave Bird is there, having Nature's Madness is there, Wild Charge is there, he will still hit really hard. So I wouldn't say that this is a bad set. It's just that there are some things about Tapu Koko that does surprise me. The next thing was his special move pool. The difference between his attack and special attack by 20 points isn't that bad. You look at the difference, I guess the 20 base points off is not that big of a deal. You would deal with, like, the good thing about special Tapu Koko is that he does get access to Dazzling Gleam, allowing him to do widespread attacks, and having access to Volt Switch so you can get out of small situations. Either way, Life Orb, Focus Sash, they can work out well. He also gets access to Calm Mind, so you can do some boosting for him. But the last set I wanted to give Tapu Koko was a more support defensive set. This set was where I got surprised with. Tapu Koko with its typing, pretty decent, like I said, only 2 weaknesses. And then its stats, I was looking at its defensive stats, 70 on the hit points, 85 on defense, 75 on special defense. And I was thinking, what was another electric type back in like 6th generation that excelled with bulk? And that's why Thundurus is here. I look at Thundurus' stats. It has slightly higher hit points, but its defenses were lower. But even then, it was a surprisingly bulky Pokemon. Now, the low amount of speed on Thundurus, the main reason people do that is because he get access to Prankster, so he can, Prankster Thunder Wave and Prankster Taunt and not have to worry about his low speed investment, because Thunder Wave is going to make him get access to that speed control. Tapu Koko doesn't have Prankster, but he does gain access to Roost. Thundurus doesn't gain access to any sort of healing moves besides Rest. Roost on Tapu Koko actually helps out just for bringing in more Thunder Waves, bringing in more Nature's Madness, and then you could do decent damage with Dazzling Gleam. Like I said, if he had Play Rough, I would have been able to rather stick with a Careful Nature rather than a Calm Nature, and Play Rough would have been a much more reliable attack, along with the same type of attack bonus. Now, you don't have to give him Dazzling Gleam. If there's any attack that you would want to keep on him, it would be Nature's Madness. But you have to keep in mind that if Nature's Madness is going to be Tapu Koko's only attack, you want to make sure it's not the last Pokemon in the battle, because Nature's Madness is not going to KO anything. It's just going to leave them down to 1 hit point, and that's it. So I would be worried about that. If you are going to stick with Nature's Madness as its only offensive attack, then you can get rid of Dazzling Gleam in place of Protect, because you want to keep it rather secure at all times. Now, the item for bulky Tapu Koko, you could do Citrus Berry in the same way Thundurus would do, or you can give him the new item Electric Seed, where when electric terrain's up, the holder's defense increases by 1 stage, allowing it to be bulkier than Thundurus than ever before. So that's why its nature right now is a Careful or a Calm Nature, because you can at least get a boost from the Electric Seed. Even then, like I said, the defense on Tapu Koko is higher than the special defense, so either way, I'd say the Calm Nature is better off for him than a Bull Nature. Now, having access to Thunder Wave is there for speed control. Thunder Wave did get a nerf in Generation 7. It went down to 90% on accuracy, and the speed that it cuts on Pokemon that are paralyzed, it no longer cuts it by half, instead it cuts it by a quarter. So it's basically like similarly to a 1 speed drop on a stat. So keep that in mind. It's still going to be risky, but he could still work well with the speed control. But yeah, looking at Tapu Koko, I would say that offensively he could work. It's just that he doesn't have access to Play Rough. He doesn't have access to Moonblast. Doesn't have access to a really reliable electric attack or a physical electric attack for the physical set. So it was kind of risky to say that, you know, it's I wouldn't say it's risky. I would say like it's a very generic set for Tapu Koko, because straight away you think high attack, high speed. So let's make it, you know, thrive in that EV spread. But for the defensive set, you can kind of play around that Thunderous role, since Thunderous is not part of VGC 17. You can have Tapu Koko basically play that similar role, along with having access to Roost, along with having access to supporting Pokemon like Alolan Raichu. So basically, if people enjoyed using Thunderous, is upset that, you know, he's not part of this generation, along with Rotom and Zapdos, both electric types that were used very well in previous VGCs, is not part of this generation. So I wouldn't say that Tapu Koko is going to be... Tapu Koko will probably be up in that role as a defensive electric type supporter. So anyone who misses Zapdos, Rotom, Thunderous probably gets some enjoyment with Tapu Koko. Anyways, that's going to be it for today. Next time, if you guys want me to look at another Pokemon, then feel free to let me know in the comment section. Otherwise, I will choose a Pokemon for myself for next time. So, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all whenever. Take care.